You're watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.
Hi, welcome to Hotel Talk with Keegan and Dan, and I'm actually staying in a Fairfield Marriott, and we were discussing it. This is your go-to, Marriott's. You're a big Marriott guy.
It's the baseball writer stereotype, man. Thankfully, there's a few. Marriott's, Bruce Springsteen, Seinfeld are really the baseball writer stereotypes. I guess I like Springsteen. I'm not a big Seinfeld knower, but the hotel, Marriott's, and points are where I am just a sucker. It is. I'm often told that I need to stop measuring my life so strictly in Marriott points, but I have more of those than I have money, so I think it works for me. And it's. I always say that the way I calculate it, Dan, is that if I ever get laid off, how long I can stay in an airport hotel just on points, and we're getting out there to quite a distance. So I think.
So what are you, like a month?
I'm a month and a half at this point. About if we get a bad one, so that's my safety net, and it's my passion on the road. It really is. It's my sports.
They have a waffle machine here, and the sign on it says "not for sale." So that question has been asked multiple times, so many times that they had to create a sign.
Price for everything, baby.
Can we talk about, before we get to the Jays, can we talk about the point system? And I use my points card whenever I get groceries, and Loblaws is now combined with Shoppers. I used to get like $10 off once every couple months. The points don't accumulate as much as they used to anymore. Am I the only one noticing this?
Dude, the golden age is over. And in so many ways, like I started in the Blue Jays beat in 2017. So in so many ways, I have arrived as the party is winding down, both in terms of baseball, in terms of peak points time. But man, it is it's all about the points for me. And every year, Dan, I try to find a way to get a couple freebies. Last year, I checked into a hotel in Baltimore, and there was a man in my room who was staying there already. Unfortunate. Was not great for him, was not great for me. But the moment I closed that door after he yelled at me and started walking down to the front desk, I thought, this could be the best thing to happen to me all season. I can turn this into points. So did I play it up in my emails and make it sound like I thought my life was in danger? Yes. But that's okay. No one needs to know the truth. And everything's an opportunity to earn a few more points. It's a beautiful game.
Have you ever arrived at your hotel room in Vegas and 2 a.m. and walked into the room and discovered that all the lights were on and other people's clothes were in there, and then wake up the next morning after you've found your room you were supposed to be in, that you could have died?
My God.
2 a.m. Every scenario went through my head. I'm like, I could have walked into a drug deal. I could have been confused. Oh, I knew you were cheating on me, and then get attacked by someone. I could have. All I got was a free night stay. I could have.
There you go.
I could have got a lot more.
I tell you what, life on the road is glamorous until you're the one doing it. It's. Over the years, I've just become a big hotel guy. When I'm on the road, I'm in New York. My friends are, you got to eat here. This is the best Greek, the best seafood. You got to go to the... I'm saying no. I am going to buy 6 cold beer and sit in my silent hotel room and do nothing.
And wait for that waffle machine to roll out in the morning.
Waffles in the morning. But it's beautiful. It's my peaceful place. I just... love sitting in a hotel, waking up, watching the SportsCenter loop for 7 hours until I can speak along with it. It's the way to do it.
Keegan, this will make you happy. All weekend long, I was thinking of you because the last time we spoke, the Jays were in a free fall, couldn't figure anything out. After we spoke, they figured everything out. They roll over the Mariners. They come back home, and I thought we would talk about nothing but great things today. And then last night happened, and a grand slam in the 9th did the Jays in.
That was brutal because, I wrote 20 versions of the story yesterday. It was a mess. But when Dalton Varsho hit that home run in the bottom of the 8th off the facing the 500 level, and I wished it had made it in because tracking who's hit it to the 500 level I love. There's not many. But that felt like one of those moments of like, oh man, like this season is swinging in a direction. Because I am a big believer in momentum and that it matters. And that if you're a team like the Blue Jays, who's going to be around 500, one winning streak of 8 or 9 games changes the whole season. And that felt like that was about to happen. And then Jeff Hoffman did what he did. And it's been confusing to see Jeff Hoffman lately because in April, he was as dominant as I've seen a pitcher with the Blue Jays in a long time. Like, he was not just saving, he was winning games by himself. And now he's had a couple of rough ones against the Angels. This one was rough. Grand slam, 5-run inning. And man, that feels like 2 or 3 losses all in one. And you lose what might have been Dalton Varsho's best career game. Man, he was incredible. 2 home runs, both of which were the hardest hit ball of his career. And then he had that great catch in left center field. And it doesn't count now that they lost. Sorry. It's a real tough one.
How many have hit it to the 500 level? I know of Canseco.
It's a number. I have it in the Blue Jays media guide. The last couple were a visiting player, 2014, 2019. There's only been a couple since the COVID break there. But I think we're in the kind of like 12 to 15 range. Canseco definitely had a couple. I believe some old Red Sox sluggers. I think Manny Ramirez may have done it as well. But like, it's a pretty select club. Like, we're talking 10, 15 range. And it was done once last year. But prior to that, it had been a couple of years. So that is special ground when someone can get it up there. Even in batting practice. Like, I watch too much batting practice. Guys struggle to get it up there, even when they're trying.
So being around the team, that weekend in Seattle must have changed the entire vibe, the entire the complexion of the team. It may have lifted the veil of what are we doing here to, hey, we might actually be an okay baseball team.
It really did. And just being around a clubhouse is a pretty fascinating thing in terms of how it works after a win versus after a loss. And being around a major league clubhouse after a win for a team that's actually being competitive is one of the most unique things in sports. I think there's this confidence in the room that you can sense. And you can see how close the team is. And these guys are singing along and goofing off together, and you see how cohesive a team is. I was actually surprised after the loss yesterday. Dalton Varsho spoke to this a bit, and he used the term mojo, which I was not expecting Dalton Varsho to use. But that the team this year has a better mojo. That last year, he said, when they got down, everyone would be kind of defeated and think, okay, we're not going to come back. This year, he says it feels the opposite. That it's, listen, like it or not, we're going to have good at-bats. We are going to come back on you. And Dalton Varsho is the last guy I would expect to be speaking on, bigger things like that. He's typically more reserved, and that's not a bad thing. I like Dalton a lot, but he is typically not one to go out of his way to speak on those larger team issues, which means that when he says it, I listen. Like, I really do. It's one thing for it to come from the coaching staff or from a player who's always talking, but Dalton Varsho's not that guy. And when he speaks, I think he's thought about it. So you see that in there. And honest to God, I do see it in the clubhouse when I'm with this team. I really do see a different team than I did last year. But you need to win. It doesn't matter if you're under 500. No, it's the same conversation, Dan, we have about like good clubhouse players. Some of the worst dudes have won World Series rings, okay? It's on some of these teams that win the World Series, it is not the 26th most high chemistry, cohesive guys. There are some bad apples and awkward fits who still win. But you need it to work in the win column first. Then we'll really see it. But it's a strange balance, though, because I keep getting this sense that it is a better clubhouse. It is a better roster. They're closer. They're tighter knit. But then you have an inning like Jeff Hoffman's, and boom, all of that goes away.
Speaking of questionable characters, my brother texted me out of the blue. I was on the road yesterday traveling, and he said, so is Pete Rose going to the Cooperstown now? And I said, wait, hold on. So I did a quick Google search. So he has been reinstated. By the way, this is where I remind you, Pete Rose is a man who I had the opportunity to drive be driven to Vegas by Pete Rose in his Rolls Royce.
Wow.
And I said no. Thinking back, I'm like, yeah, it's probably the right call because that drive would have taken a long time.
Yeah.
I took a plane instead. So he has been reinstated by baseball. Does that mean he is going to Cooperstown?
The first year votes, I'm going to be fascinated to see where they're at. So this is, and for people listening who don't know the boring voting process, it's BBWA writers who have been covering baseball for 10 or more years. At that point, you get a vote for the Hall of Fame. I'm a couple years shy. Do I want one or not? I don't know yet. But
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
We'll see. But sometimes I don't like how the whole process centers the writers themselves. But with Pete Rose, you need 75% of the vote. Now, you need 5% to stay on the ballot. That's no problem for him. It's a conversation we had when someone like Delgado fell off the ballot. You can't get to that 5%. You need 75% to get in. And he's going to have some time to get to that year after year. I'm fascinated to see where this gets year one, because I think that you will have a divide between older writers and younger writers who were covering the game or at least alive during Pete Rose's time playing versus writers who were not. And that first year number, is it going to be first year 40%, 60%? I don't know if it'll be a first year into the Hall of Fame. That would seem high for me. But it's all about setting that baseline. As we've seen with a lot of players as they build their case over the years. You start at 38 and you get to 45, 51, and by year 10 you get in. It's almost like campaigning, Dan. You know, it's if there's a player who's on the rise, there's going to be a few writers who really believe they should be in. And you kind of, as you're traveling around the league, like you're on a campaign tour, you try to flip a few votes as you're going in. And Rose is going to be the most interesting case we've had in a very, very, very long time. And his first year number is going to set the stage for all of it. And he's going to be the biggest conversation point with the Hall of Fame that we've had since a lot of the PED guys, I believe.
How's my guy Garth Orge? Has that ship sailed?
So far, but they have something called the Eras Committee, which is when they go back through history and they have a committee that meets and votes. So there's always a chance. It's the same committees that I think should help out guys like Carlos Delgado and Dave Stieb, but Garth Orge, I'll try to grease the wheels in there.
Okay,
we'll
thank
see.
you. I will say this about Cooperstown. It is the hardest, you tell me if you agree, the hardest Hall of Fame to get into, because no slight to the Hockey Hall of Fame, but there's some guys that get in, I'm like, what? What did he do?
Absolutely. Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. It's because we're getting to the point now, like I'm 34, so a lot of the guys getting into Hall of Fames in football, in hockey, are guys that I grew up watching. They were in their primes as I was in my, peak hockey or football watching years. And I'm thinking, okay, like he was a great player, but he was kind of like, he was rated 91 in Madden, not 99 type of thing, right? So with the Baseball Hall of Fame, that's where you're looking at classes of one or two guys sometimes. It's a very high bar. And even with some of the very, very best, undeniably best players of all time, they're not getting 100% of votes. Sometimes because there's disagreement, sometimes because somebody wants some attention as the person who didn't vote for X. But the voting process does make it difficult to get in, and needing 75% of that vote, because when a writer sits down, you can select up to 10 names on your ballot. Some people believe in a quote-unquote big haul, which means you vote for 10 every year no matter what. Whereas some people have drawn a line in their heart of, listen, this is what a Hall of Famer is. Some years I might only vote for 2 guys or 4 guys. So it's such a different philosophical process for everybody. And it's hard to get in. Man, it is hard to get in. I wish it was a little bigger because
No,
see some
keep
players
it
out of it,
exclusive.
But if you make it a little bigger, it ends up getting a lot bigger, probably pretty fast.
Yeah.
So it's an honor.
And I can't let you go without asking this. You would have been in attendance last night, so you saw them with your own eyes. Maybe it was a different vantage point. But the Tampa pants and jerseys they wore to Tuesday night's game, from my eyes, were the most unimaginative, boring uniforms ever seen in the history of baseball. I thought, okay, they must have lost their luggage on the way or something. This looks like a spring training attire. Your thoughts?
It was a little dull, man.
Yes,
you know?
it was.
I think the Rays need to lean into retro,
pants.
like hardcore. Like I know they have the City Connects jerseys. I think they need to lean retro all the way. Lean back into the Devil Rays, the neon. Like it's so perfectly Florida. Like it's not retro for the sake of being retro. I think it captures like Tampa and where they're from. That retro neon tie-dye feel. And I'd love to see more of that from them. But man, it was a mismatch in terms of jerseys. I tell you what.
Go back to the Wade Boggs jerseys.
Yeah. Those ones are classics. But maybe there was luggage lost. Yandy Diaz did not have his passport renewed, so he could not get over the border. But man, traveling secretaries, quietly the most important people on a roster, keeping all of these guys straight with passports and travel and all that. But yeah, big W for the Blue Jays in terms of jerseys. I think they have some of the better jerseys in baseball still.
Traveling secretaries, I guess there's a George Costanza joke every single week among that group.
Absolutely. My God, they've got to get tired of it. The assistant jokes.
Thanks, my friend.
You got it, man.
Thanks for watching Toronto Sports Rush on the Bet Rivers Network.